But did they understand it? Did
No, of
they
course
really
not.
get it?
There's resistance.
It is
Basically,
the
you'd see that in the trash.
com- Welcome to another episode of Explore UMTC, and we'll dive into the heart of every vessel, which is the galley. And today's discussion is about training that goes beyond the plate. We'll show you how our culinary professionals master the art of zero waste management and strategic meal planning, but not just for our taste buds, but also for our health, sustainability, and operational excellence on board. Joining us today is someone who's not only cooked 1,000 meals at sea, but is now shaping the next generation of seafarer chefs. He served as a camp boss, to chief cook, to instructor, and now the culinary training manager of UMTC, none other than Chef Joey Pante. Hi, Chef!
Hi,
How
Jiril.
are you?
I'm good.
Are you ready for this discussion?
Yes, I
Hi.
think so.
So, Chef, you've seen both land-based and shipboard galleys, right? Throughout your career, because you've been in the industry for how long already?
I think more than 15 years.
So,
Exactly.
at what point did the zero waste mindset really click for you? Or let's say, what made you shift from just simply preparing food to maximizing all the ingredients that you have?
All right, so going back to college during the university days, if you're taking culinary arts or HRM during that
And
time,
that's what you took,
I
right?
took up HRM, major in culinary arts in college. It was taught already to maximize ingredients in preparing soup stocks for the sauces and stuff like that. Going back to on board during the time that I was working as a second cook, I have noticed more food waste. So that's one of me and the messman's responsibility to store the food waste in the garbage area. I think that's where it got stuck with me. Like going back to what I have learned and what was taught during college days to
To
maximize
maximize.
everything. So, but yeah, the contract finished and the chief cooks, he's doing all that stuff that he had learned before. So after that contract, I got promoted to chief cook on
Wow.
board vessels, and that's where I started doing my thing,
Okay, and
like saving the
you
scraps.
already implement that
I was already
practice.
implementing and practicing all that stuff at the same time, educating my second cook and my mess
But
man
you're still in a cargo vessel
in a
this
cargo
time.
vessel. Yes, I'm making them aware of what we can do with this. Also, one of the funny thing, if other people would see, like for example, personnel from deck and engine or other departments, they would see that oh, dude, what are you doing with the scraps? What are you doing with the
Why are
trimmings?
you still using
Why are
it?
you still using it?
Yes.
So I had to explain everything. I had to educate them. And then, yeah, they were open with it. So like for example, as I mentioned earlier, the ramen broth, it's a thing today, right? And
Yes.
nowadays.
People love
Yes,
ramen.
people love ramen broth. So what's it made of? So you use bones.
Ah,
Another example, what's the best tasting part of chicken?
Thai part.
Thigh part, right? Because that's where the bones are. It's
Okay.
connected. So the flavor comes from the bones.
Bones. You can find flavor on those
On those what
parts
we
that we
call
think,
trimmings and
yeah.
scraps and all that stuff.
It is the maximizing, right?
It's the maximizing part. That's the nose to tail.
Okay.
And for the vegetables, that's the
Rutus.
root to stem.
Earlier, you were asking me, do you buy broccoli? Right?
Yeah.
If I'm buying broccoli, and I said yes, why did you ask me?
That's a good example for root to stem. So usually when you get broccoli, you just cut the florets
Yes, of
off,
course.
and then the stem it gets
You put it,
discarded. But
yes, in the
basically, you could
trash.
just peel it off, chop it into bite-sized pieces, and blanch it together with the florets. That would give you a more vibrant and crisp vegetable
Right.
at the end of your cooking. You can include that for soups also. It's because it's starch. You can also have that included with stir fry. You stir fry it with the broccoli florets.
So can you walk us through on how you teach our trainees that you can still find flavor, nutrition, and value by using those trimmings?
It's the same process of explaining and educating them, but more into the detail of how it's like and where did it started from. It's always on the why. You
Why are we
have
using it?
you have to be able to explain everything, expect a lot of whys with that. But again, as I've mentioned, if they are on boarding or seagoing cooks, you have to instill that kind of knowledge with them to be for them to be more aware of more on the healthy cooking.
So when they get on board, it will be their practice already.
It's gonna
It
be
will
their
be their
practice. It should be.
normal thing to them.
Yeah, because if not, their training will just go to waste. We make sure that when they prepare food, when they prepare dishes, various dishes with various cuisines, we ensure that they practice that kind of thing. And at the same time, for program trainees, it's also part of their daily cooking
Operations, yes.
for the duration that they're staying here. So they have this schedule on preparing stocks. So for example, for the past few days in 1 week, they will be just collecting bones, they will be collecting trimmings, and then just refrigerate it. And at the end of the week, they prepare
They will
stocks.
prepare stuff.
They mostly do it
And
over
I
the
guess
weekend.
that is one of the biggest factors on you achieving the
Exactly. Exactly.
reduced food waste management, right?
There's tangible
Yes.
effect in that.
But did they understand it after your first explanation? I mean, did
No, of
they
course
really get
not.
it?
There's resistance.
Yes, because it is
Basically,
the
you'd see that in the trash.
common idea, right?
Exactly. So you have to educate people also in that kind of practice that you're doing. So they should be aware of it because they would think negatively, like, oh, you're putting this into food. We're eating
Why?
scraps. Why
Yes.
should you do that? So you had to explain the science behind it and that kind of stuff. So they welcomed it and explaining the difference between a ready-made soup and a freshly made ones, the nutrition behind it, the sodium content
Yes.
with it, so stuff like that. And then yeah, I have been practicing it ever since. Now that I was fortunate to share my knowledge and experience with the trainees that we have at the training center, it's a journey,
Yeah. It's
basically.
very fulfilling, of
Yes,
course.
of course. Knowing that people would do the same practice that you have, the advocacy in not literally zero waste management, but
More on the
more on the
maximizing.
maximizing and utilizing, not just for the scraps but also for other dishes that you can you make something out of it.
Yes, because of course they might think that when you say maximizing, it's just about the scraps, but no,
Exactly.
right?
Some other people would say recycling, upcycling, some. But you again, you have to educate them. You have to let them know the reasons why, and also you have to give them the product, of
Yes.
course.
But going back to what you have mentioned earlier, the convenient products, it doesn't mean that we're against it, right?
Yeah. Well, personally, yes, me
It's
too.
supplementing or
It's
yeah.
supplemental. It's there for a cause, like for emergency purposes. But the thing is, why we teach the basics or going back to the basics in maximizing the ingredients is what if you got used to using convenient products and one day
There will be no
there
convenient
will be no
products
convenient
anymore.
products on board. So knowing that you have limited stocks on board, so how are you going to prepare something or exactly or more nutritiously having a cyclic menu on board vessels with the provisions that you'll be ordering, at the same time making sure that the crew has nutritious meals to
Yeah.
eat. there are diseases that are connected with ready-made products, and most of the seafarers, they go home, they get sick during medical. So it's
And
one
it
of the
was
things that,
found out that it's because of what they have.
yeah, because they seafarers, they stay on board
For
more
how
than they
long?
stay
Yes.
during vacation inland. So they're not able to develop that kind of diseases while they're on vacation.
Since we're already on this topic, you have mentioned the voyage, the how many days, the duration of stay on board. So can you enlighten us when we say a voyage? So as a person in charge in the food or in the galley, how do you manage your provisions?
Ah, okay.
Because there
So
are long voyages, right?
yes,
What was your how long was the longest voyage
with
you
my
had?
experience, I had experienced 42 days at sea from
And of
south.
course, before you get on board, you
Of
have
course, you
all the
get
provisions
provisions
ready.
depending on the port that you are in, depending on the prices of the provisions in that area or in that country. Some are quite expensive.
And part of it is the budget
Exactly. So
planning.
this is how it works on board ships for chief cooks. You're given a budget for the duration of the voyage. So with that, you have to maximize everything. You have to get everything that you can get within that budget, and then you have to manage or stretch it out until you go from point A to point
Point B.
B. With my experience, in Asia, it's in Korea specifically. So I was allotted a budget, and then I have to stretch the provisions for 42 days until we get to Korea to Peru.
Okay.
And 42 days is not quite easy for you to manage everything, to be fresh.
So there's no stopover.
No stopover, no groceries. So
Yeah.
just one
So
time.
how did you keep your ingredients, especially the vegetables, the greens, to be, you know, to be still
Fresh and edible.
edible until the end of 42 days?
Palatable, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there are cooking methods that are practiced actually. Like for example, blanching your vegetables, the green ones after what 2-3 weeks, because after that, it will start to get wilted.
Of course. Oh.
So some practices, they use a damp cloth or a linen, and then they cover it. It's like a it's common in Japanese. Those can be practiced in households. But on board vessels, it's like you're
You
having
have to level up that technique.
yes, because you're talking about volume. You're talking about 20 kilos, 40, 50 kilos of stuff that you have to monitor at the same time. For me, during my time when I was still working on board, I also educate people, not just the personnel from the galley or the messman and the second cook, but also other people that are passing by in the kitchen, and they were like checking on what's on the menu, and some
Okay.
officers. So it's quite a good thing to
To share the
to
knowledge.
share the knowledge.
You also mentioned earlier that the zero waste management doesn't just apply in the kitchen. It it goes beyond that. So how do we teach or how do we instill the zero waste management even if you're not really the person in charge in the kitchen?
Zero waste management is interrelated to a lot of things. One of those is the compliance with MARPOL Annex 5, or the maritime pollution. So this is regarding waste management or garbage management plan on board vessels. So with MARPOL Annex 5, it's regarding segregation and disposal of garbage on board.
Yeah.
The practice is the proper segregation, like color coding of the bins.
Beans.
It's not just having the idea or the principle of practicing zero waste management or the zero waste cooking, but more on the compliance with Maritime Pollution Annex 5, the MARPOL.
Yes, because that is what we want to showcase here also, or to let the audience realize that when we say zero waste management, it doesn't just apply in the kitchen, but our our practices.
It's not just about food. Non-food also, waste management can be practiced. Like for example, here at the training center, we stop using spoon and fork that are plastics.
Yeah.
Plastic containers also are being stopped.
Lesson. Yes.
Well, lessen, yes. We're using paper cups instead of plastic cups. Those kind of stuff. We are using eco-friendly solutions for cleaning. Segregation also, even if you're not on board,
Yeah.
it's practice here and it's a non-negotiable thing.
It's a holistic approach.
Exactly.
Yes, and earlier when we were talking, you made me also realize that when we say segregation, it's not just a simple segregation because it's a big thing, especially on board. When you get on board, segregation means really something, right? So, what are the risks if, for example, your personnel didn't segregate the trash properly?
Well, the vessel could be fined.
Just because of the segregation, right?
Just because of the segregation, or if you were dumping or disposing food waste in areas that are you're not supposed to be disposing at.
And when we
That
say
you have.
fine, how much would be
Well,
the
it could
fine?
cost thousands of dollars for sure.
Just because of
Just
that.
because of that,
So
and some other vessels could be detained because of the violation.
those kind of things, we really want to let our seafarers, our trainees, to instill that kind of proper practice.
Yes,
right?
because we do not want them to be sent home because of
Yes.
simple segregation of garbage.
That's what we are really proud about our training center. That even the OJTs or the interns that we have, they are really being thought of that practice. So how was our food waste here at UMTC?
But the food waste, we have reduced it in a year, and it's a continuous progress. In you know in the advocacy of reducing it. For training and operations, it's everything is applied with that to reduce or maximize everything.
Yes, it is very important because here in our training center, we feed how many people in a day?
Yeah, we usually prepare 1,000 or more than 1,500 meals a day for cadets and employees. For me, it's an achievement for the team.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
This is our holistic approach in a training center. That we don't just train, right? We really prepare for our cadets, for our trainees, because that is how the experience on board, really. We simulate.
It's not just the process of preparing food, but in particular, it's also preparing various cuisines. Because when you go on board, there would be other nationalities that you'll be preparing for. Considering allergens, considering religion, considering the nationality. So everything is taught depending on the specific course that they are
But
enrolled in.
when you are on board, for example, I'm a foreign crew, and I would like to ask you, example, I'm a European. Chef, could you prepare European food for me? Is that how it works in the on board or no?
That's where the critical thinking of a cook or a chief cook will go into. Like for example, the officers on board are Japanese or some are Europeans and some are Indians.
Because it's cross-cultural, right?
It's cross-cultural and majority of them are Filipinos. Like 16 of them are Filipinos, sometimes 12 of them are Filipinos, and the rest are
Yes, because majority of seafarers are Filipino.
very much. What the chief cook could do is prepare something. Like for example, your officers are European. Based on my experience, what I did before was every Saturday there's various cuisines. Like for example, this Saturday it would be
It's like a buffet station. You have the
not really a
Asian.
buffet station. It's mostly plated, but it depends on the vessel.
Okay.
Sometimes they have, higher budgets where you can provide buffet for everybody.
It's
But
the prerogative of the chief cook.
yes, based on my personal experience, I was preparing for Japanese and Indian officers. So I have to prepare two kinds of dishes.
And that where is menu planning as leadership
Yes.
goes into, right?
And not just that, I have to consider religion. There are most Indian nationalities or officers are Hindu, where they do not consume meats. So mostly on the vegetarian or vegan stuff.
Yeah.
And the other one is Christian, Catholic. So he eats pork, he eats anything.
Yes,
So
so a
you
lot of
have to consider that.
and we have a specific course for that one, right?
Exactly. We have halal cuisine for the halal practitioners or
And the menu
practitioners.
planning.
And the menu planning. Every course actually have this kind of menu planning where we gauge the knowledge of the trainees.
Because here in our training center, we have a lot of
Exactly.
cuisines.
Everything is under our training center,
Yes.
the cuisines, the different various cuisines.
And that is what we are really proud to say. That we
exactly
offer a lot
actually
of.
even me personally, yes.
So when you are a culinary professional, you really have to think. You really have to be strategic. You have to have that leadership skills.
Yes.
You have to be versatile.
Exactly, and that goes hand in hand with training.
Yeah.
It's not self-taught.
Yes.
No? So you have to reinforce everything. It's not like, okay, I've seen this in videos, I'll be
Yes.
doing this. What if someone would ask you, how did you came up with that? The practice in doing that goes with zero waste cooking is your mise en place. Mise en place, in that's a culinary term for everything in place.
Okay.
If you do that, if you practice that, you'd be able to focus. If you're new into cooking, you'd be able to focus on the recipe. You'd be able to read the procedure.
So it's really a process,
It's
right?
a process, yes. To give you a glimpse of how courses work here for culinary. Like for example, you enrolled into a particular course.
Course,
Like for
yeah.
example, various cuisines. So first thing that you do before you dive into the practical part is the theoretical part. In that theoretical part, that would be more on the history. Like for example, European cuisine. So what's the customs of European cuisine? What are the ingredients that are used for European cuisine? So if you're a Filipino cook and you're used to cooking Filipino dishes, don't look for that particular taste or flavor from your Filipino cooking to European cuisine because it's very far from each other.
That is really the good thing about our training. It's not just training, but it is really an investment. We keep on saying that because other people might think that when you enroll, it's just, you know what, you're just paying for the training. You're just paying for the certification. But no, you are really investing in your knowledge. You are really investing on the safety and the wellness of your crew.
Exactly. Yeah, we always start with the foundation of knowing the basics first. Even if you know something, you know it already, or you've been practicing
and
it already.
after that course, we have that assessment, right?
Yes, exactly.
To make sure, to ensure
to
that
ensure that they can do it on their own.
yes, given all of those practices, all of those methods, and the empowerment that we are really doing. So, what kind of culture do you hope our UMTC trainees carry with them, even after they leave our training center?
It's gonna be very satisfying to know that they'd be able to pass on everything that they have learned, like what I did when I was still working on board. And I am still, yeah, as I've said, I'm still continuing with that process and not stopping on learning.
Yes.
So they learn something, we share with everybody. You respect the ingredient. You always check if this particular food, would be served to you, would it be okay for you to take. And if it's not, then don't do it.
All right. So again, thank you, Chef Joey, for the very insightful, I guess, flavorful discussion that we have today. We learned that, yes, being a culinary professional is not just about cooking. It's not just about technique, but it really talks about being resourceful. Again, the respect for every ingredient and commitment to sustainability and safety on board. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Been a pleasure.
If you believe in this kind of training, check out our course offerings at umtc.com.ph. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for the next episodes of Explore UMTC Season 3. Because when we train with heart, we sail with purpose.